Welcome! My name is Sydney Metter and I am a fangirl. Hey guys! So I'm really excited for this week's video because I am talking about my all-time favorite TV show, Game of Thrones! Dum dum da da dum dum da da dum dum da da dum dum. Okay, I'm not gonna do the whole theme song. That would be lame, right? Anyways, guys, I am really excited because this week, look what I bought. I'm just gonna, okay. Ta-da! For those of you who don't know, this is a pop iron throne. So it's basically the seat that everyone on Game of Thrones is trying to fight over, and I got a little tiny replica. So I bought this to go with all my other Game of Thrones pop figures over here. I'm not a loser, I promise. And I really love these guys. They're like my pride and joy. I have them all arranged like in a specific order based on like where I want them to be or where they are or who their storylines are with, whatever. And someday maybe I'll show you guys that, but I really don't think you care, honestly. And it would take up a lot of time, so I'm not gonna do that right now. But yeah, so I'm gonna use this for the video because today I'm gonna talk about who should sit on the Iron Throne. Anyone who watches Game of Thrones is probably aware that a lot of the discussion that happens within the fandom is how people think that the story is going to end, who they think is going to end up on the Iron Throne. It's kind of a big deal, like it's the whole point of the entire series is just people sitting on the Iron Throne and then dying, or trying to get to the Iron Throne and then dying. A lot of people die. But someone has to end up on the throne, right? I mean, unless they destroyed the throne and then became a democracy? Plot twist. Anyway, so that's what I'm going to be talking about today, who I think should be sitting on the Iron Throne. And because I have ideas of who I think should also be in power, I'm going to talk about them too. But I'm only going to be talking about people that I think should be ruling over different areas. I'm not going to just be talking about my favorite characters and where I think they'll end up, because that would just take forever. Okay, keep in mind, guys, that this is just my wishful thinking idea. This isn't at all how I think it's going to end, and it 100% cannot end like this because of the freaking Red Wedding. So, by the way, if you haven't watched the Red Wedding, or, you know, if you're not completely caught up, because I'm probably going to talk about the season 5 finale at some point, just stop watching this, because spoilers! So before I get to who I think should sit on the Iron Throne, let's talk about Robb Stark. Yes, I know, he's dead. This can't happen. So, in an idealistic world where the Red Wedding never happened and Robb Stark was still alive trying to take the North, I genuinely wish that he had succeeded and that Westeros had been divided into 2 countries, let's say like North and South Westeros, and he was ruling. I really love Robb Stark. Like, he's probably one of my all-time favorite characters, and I don't entirely know why. And I know Robb made a lot of mistakes. Let's keep in mind that he's very young during this time, a lot younger than he looks on the show. But he also had a lot of his father's honor and bravery. I think if the war had ended and he had actually just had some time to rule, he would have done an absolutely amazing job. Robb Stark, you'll always be king of my heart. So, now let's talk about the Iron Throne! Yay! Alright, this is gonna be an incredibly unpopular opinion, I feel like. I don't know if anyone actually ever considered this or even would like this, but I am very adamant about this. I would love it if Gendry ended up on the Iron Throne. So this one is actually quite possible, and I wouldn't be surprised if it actually did happen, because let's think about this for a second. If we hold to the idea that the Baratheons have the claim to the throne because they usurped the Targaryens, then the only person in all of Westeros that has any claim anymore is Gendry. So let's see what we have here. We have Joffrey, who is 100% Lannister and has absolutely no claim to the throne. Same with Tommen. And then we have Robert's 2 brothers, Renly and Stannis, who are both dead, and Cersei had all of his other children killed. That leaves Gendry. Literally, Gendry is the only Baratheon left. And it would be so unexpected, right? Because even though he's been told he has royal blood and that he's super special, A, he was always just kind of Arya's sidekick for the time he was on the show. B, We haven't seen him for 2 seasons, so whoever was thinking, maybe this could work, is probably forgotten about him now. Not me. Love you, Gendry. So this is genius. Gendry is off chilling somewhere while everyone else is slaughtering each other. So by the time that Gendry gets to the Iron Throne to take it, there will be no one to tell him no. They'll all be dead. Gendry will actually be like their only hope. And guys, I also want to point out, and this might make me a little biased, I am like 100% in love with Gendry. That boy is beautiful. Have you ever noticed that when he's all like dirty and sweaty, his eyes just like glisten? Wow. And because I am a huge Gendry shipper, that is Gendry and Arya, if you weren't aware, I would want Arya to rule alongside him as his queen. I love Arya and I think she's amazing, and I need her to get back to Westeros because I'm 100% worried about her where she is, and I do not like it. I don't like where her storyline's going, and I freaking miss them being together because I am obsessed with that ship. And so some of you may be wondering, what about Daenerys? I love Daenerys and I think she should rule. That girl is my Khaleesi. I think that she should just stay in Meereen, because I think that if she tries to go to Westeros, which I acknowledge she probably will end up doing sometime on the show run, I just don't think she should, because if she does, all of her dragons are just gonna destroy everything, and a lot of people are going to die for nothing. I mean, for her to rule, but also, does she need to? I mean, she has this country already. She's ruling in Meereen. She has tons of people, and she has a lot of problems over there. I think she should just, like, chill there, get everything figured out, and just be a Khaleesi over there. So, in an ideal world, that is where I would want the show to end. But we don't live in an ideal world. The Red Wedding happened, and Daenerys has just been swept off to God knows where with her dragon, and we haven't seen Gendry in 2 years, so that ain't gonna happen. So now I'm gonna talk about how I think it will end, because that is very different than how I think it should end. And I'm just going to say this now, these are spoilers. If you have not watched the season 5 finale, you probably should stop the video now. Alright, it's that time. Who do I think will end up on the Iron Throne? Dun 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 dun. So this is how I think the series is gonna end. Jon Snow on top. Now, some of you may be saying, what? How can that be? Isn't Jon Snow dead? No, he isn't dead. I promise you, 100% not dead. We have had a lot of speculation all summer. Some cast members have specifically said, no, Jon Snow isn't coming back. And some of them have been saying, yes, Jon Snow is coming back. And a lot of people have speculated that Kit Harington hasn't cut his hair or shaved his beard, and he is currently where they're filming the scenes in Castle Black, so it pretty much just leads to the assumption that he is obviously alive. I believe in R plus L equals J, which is basically, I'm not going to go into detail about it, but if you haven't heard about this, it's basically the theory that Jon Snow is a Targaryen, and that Ned Stark isn't his father, but actually Ned's sister and Rhaegar Targaryen are his parents. So if this theory is true, that means that Jon Snow does actually have a claim to the throne if you think that the Targaryens still should be in charge. Quite frankly, it would explain why Jon Snow is so heavily advertised with the show, because they always put him on the Iron Throne in promotional pictures, but A, he's not trying to get on the Iron Throne. He's very, very far away from the Iron Throne, and he doesn't have any claim to the Iron Throne. So that doesn't really make any sense to me, unless he does have claim to the Iron Throne, which is my theory, and a lot of people also agree with this theory. So in conclusion, Jon Snow is alive, and I think Melisandre is probably going to revive him from the dead because she just ended up in Castle Black, and we've seen people from her religion revive people before, and she seemed to have a very big interest in him. So that's what's gonna happen. He's gonna come back from the dead and end up on the Iron Throne. It's just what... I'm so sorry. Okay, so that's the end of my video, and if you agree with my theories, go ahead and give this video a big thumbs up. If you have a theory of your own, go ahead and put it in the comments. I would love to hear about them. And if you like what I have to say and want to hear more, go ahead and hit subscribe below because I make videos every week. Until next time, peace out, Girl Scouts!